The Matribox family is growing, and now they have a new Pro. Check it out! What's up, fellow budget tone chasers? Welcome back to one more video here at the channel, this time bringing an amazing release. I'm talking about the third generation of the Sonicake technology Matribox, the Matribox II PRO. Before we start, I'd like to thank the good friends of Sonicake for sending over these incredible multi-effects. I appreciate your support and trust in our work here at the channel. Let's cut the chit-chat. If you were living in Narnia or under a rock, I'll give you a general context. Sonicake is one of the biggest affordable gear producers in the world, having lots of well-established products like the Sonicake Levitate, the Sonic IR, and the bestseller of the affordable multi-effects market, the Matribox II. Now, the new generation came to complete the triad of multi-effects, adding the new Matribox II PRO to the collection. But is it worth spending a little bit more in it? This is exactly what we'll discover today. First things first. Let's take a look on what you get when you buy these new multi-effects. The box is simple but beautiful. Inside, we'll find the one-page instruction, which can be complemented with the download of the online manual. On the hardware side, they keep things simple. A 9V 1A power supply and a USB-C cable, which can be used to connect your Matribox II PRO to the computer for setup or use it as an audio interface. Awesome, yeah? On the top of the unit, we see already lots of inputs and outputs. We'll deep dive on them soon. In terms of build quality, this is a solid unit, fully in aluminum case, with a touchscreen color display and with a really nice expression pedal, just like the new standard of the Sonicake expression, volume and wah pedals. Here you can already see an improvement compared to the Matribox II, as this new expression pedal has a much better grip with its sand texture instead of the old rubber one. Another really simple but cool upgrade done in this version is the addition of the on-off switch. This helps you to not need to be plugging out the power cables in order to turn it off. On the controllability, it brings lots of upgrades. When I say lots, I really mean it. The foot switches now have the luminous ring around it, which will work in the future as a color code for the setup of the controls, and it also has 3 additional foot switches compared to the Matribox II. With those, you are able to have 1 additional foot switch when using the stomp mode and still keep 2 foot switches for bank changes. This is just the start. We will talk further about the controllability function setup. In terms of algorithms and functions, it also brings a bunch of great news. The first one is a fully customizable signal chain, which allows you to pile a total of 12 slots, being able even to repeat some of them, like having different drive stages, more than 1 modulation or delay slot, and much more. Unfortunately, even being a fully stereo equipment, it still doesn't allow parallel signal chain, but this is totally fine for the current price stand which the Matribox II PRO is currently in. We are talking about $299, only $70 more compared to the Matribox 2. The software is also new, matching the upgrades done on the system of the Matribox II PRO. It is super intuitive and really user-friendly. I need also to say that editing the presets using the touchscreen interface is super easy, so this is a huge plus for those who are thinking about upgrading their Matribox 2, as the physical interface was not that simple to handle. But what about the algorithms? The new Matribox II PRO also figures out few new algorithms, mainly improving the modulation effects. It brings the traditional drive amps and cabs from the Matribox 2, keeping also some space for your own custom IRs. On the connectivity side, lots of functions are also available, starting by the MIDI in and out, which can be plugged with TRS 2mm plug MIDI cables. Together, you also have the headphones output for audio monitoring, together with an auxiliary input. On the output side, a new addition, a pair of balanced XLR together with the traditional P10 TRS in right and left. This can be helpful in order to have multiple outputs for the eye connection, amp monitoring on stage, or even combinations of signals like wet, dry, wet. Together with the new XLR balanced outputs, it also brings a switch toggle to make ground lift, which can be used to cut off the ground connection of the two XLR connectors, avoiding noise caused by the ground loop. At last, but not at least, it brings still the FX loop send and return, and allows the connection of additional foot switches or an additional expression pedal. It is super complete. On the control interface, complete new logic of setup, starting by the 3 pairs of foot switches which engage the tuner, switches between stomp mode and preset mode, and finally control the loop of the built-in looper. Under the touchscreen LED panel, 3 knobs can be used to control the respective options which appears on the base of the screen. You can also use the touch to change the parameters, sliding your fingers through the panel. In the right side, a clickable knob of menu, which can also navigate and select all functions on the screen. Together, you'll also find 2 buttons which are used to select the purpose of each control, changing the expression pedal between volume standard function or any other expression function, and opening the control panel to assign function to each individual foot switch. Finally, you will find below 5 buttons which are used to exit any menu, open the signal chain screen, and save changes on the presets. The last 2 buttons are used to engage the virtual drummer, which can be used together with the looper, and the global button will open the global settings of the multi-effects, which will enable you to control the output resources, volumes, cab simulations, calibrate the expression pedals, make changes on a global EQ, which will affect the same way all the presets, and much more. I'll make an additional video showing how to use those advanced functionalities soon, but for the sake of time, let's hear a little bit how some of the factory presets sound like. The factory presets are okay, but of course, this multi-effects shines when you create your own customized signal chain, adjusting the parameters, equalizing properly, and setting the perfect controllability for your live play. Let's take a look at how you can do that. I'll use the computer application so you can better visualize what I am doing. The first step is to find an empty preset slot. Now, you see a completely empty signal chain with the possible signal chain elements below. On the Dynamics log, you'll be able to find basically compressors and boost options. On the effects, you can find noise gates and an acoustic simulator. On the frequency, you can find frequency change effects like pitch shifter, octaver, and harmonizer. Later, we will have a wah slot, which speaks by itself. Moving on, we have the drive slot, with many overdrive and distortion simulations. Later, you'll find the preamp session, named as amp, which can be combined with the cab simulations, named as cab. If you prefer to use your own custom IRs, you can also switch the cab slot by the IR slot. It takes 44.1 kHz, 1024 samples IRs. Moving ahead, you will find an EQ slot, which has different options of EQs. On the mod, you will find all the types of modulations, while on the delay, you will find the algorithms of delays, which can be complemented with the reverbs from the reverb slot. Finally, it also brings the send and return slots, which can be used separately or as a pair, saving an additional slot of the signal chain, and the volume control from the expression pedal is the last. Now it is time to customize our signal chain. For that, we can just add the slots in the order in which we wish to have it, selecting later the functions which will be used in each slot, fine-tuning the parameters with the sliding bars below. At last, but not at least, you can click on foot switch and select stomp mode, which will enable the use of the foot switches to turn on or turn off individual or multiple slots of the signal chain. To manage how they should react, you just need to click in Preset Settings and Control, and there you'll be able to find how to address each of foot switch for a single press, pressing and holding, or even combining more than one foot switch. In the same screen, you can also address one of the foot switches as your global tap tempo, a pretty nice feature. The Matribox II PRO also brings the looper functions, which we will explore in the next video. But before we close, I would like to share my personal opinion with you. This is the first multi-effects from the Matribox family which I am playing, and I can honestly tell you that it is a killer unit for its standing price. If we consider that the Matribox II was already a bestseller on the affordable range, for only $70 more, you have a real professional unit, which is highly robust, sounds pretty damn good, brings a super user-friendly interface, and tons of connectivity options. Just by having a flexible signal chain, additional XLR balanced outputs, and so many additional foot switches for control, it already makes this a killer product for only $299. Is this the ultimate professional multi-effects from the affordable market? For sure, yes! With this new release, products like Valeton GP200 and even the Ampero One simply got obsolete. Congratulations, Sony Cake! You have probably done the best professional multi-effects release of 2024. But this is only my opinion. Now, I want to know yours. Let me know here in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? And as always, if this video was helpful to you somehow, consider subscribing to the channel so you'll be able to follow my next videos about the Matribox II PRO. Also, do not forget to leave your thumbs up so YouTube can spread this video to many other people. You can also become a member of the channel. It costs almost nothing, and it helps the channel to have a longer life, while you can participate in monthly giveaways and get lots of additional benefits. You can do it clicking join below or reading the QR code at the corner of this video. I'll catch you on the next. Keep on rocking.